why can't I play today, you know? And then I'll lower the action down a little bit, that little microscopic couple thousandths, and suddenly I can play, you know? So I find I'm more sensitive. With the pick, I find that I'm less sensitive to those kind of differences, definitely. And let's see what else. I tune these two highest pitch strings up a half step higher than they would be in Spanish tuning. That's the first way I ever tuned a guitar. It made sense to me because the night that I first got a guitar, after begging my parents, you know, please get me a guitar, and it was Christmas Eve, and I got my guitar, and I stayed up for 4 hours trying to learn how to play it. I got this little book, you know, Begin the Guitar, and it had Down in the Valley, and I was trying to play Down in the Valley, and it didn't sound, none of the chords sounded right. I was going like, you know, playing it like this. How would you play that? I was playing it like this. It was like, no, and I was, you know, 11 years old, and I was going crazy, you know. And I finally went back. See, what happened was the book told you how to tune your neck up relatively, starting with anywhere low where it kind of basically sounds good. And then you tune at the 5th fret, so you get those together, you get those together, and those together. And once I saw the pattern, I said, oh, okay. So I tuned the whole guitar up like that, all up in 4ths, and none of the chords were right. So then I finally went back and I, you know, read it in detail. And I said, what's wrong here? And I figured out, oh, okay, here you go onto the 4th fret, okay. But I never really understood, well, why is that one different? It never really made sense to me. And finally, about 5 years later, when I was really intensely learning the neck, and it used to bug me so much that you had to change your fingering when you're playing a chord, same pitches, but just moving them to different strings, you have to change the physical fingering and the picture of how it looks. And so that used to bug me out. So I said, well, and I always remembered that 4th. So I said, well, let me go back to the 4th and check that out. So I went back to the 4th, and for a while, I was going back and forth between the two tunings, standard tuning and the 4th tuning. And after a while, it got confusing because they're so close. I don't really have enough cues that tell me which one I'm in. I'd forget, and I'd go to grab something from one tuning when I was in the other tuning. And so finally, I just said, well, okay, I'm going to have to make a decision here. Which tuning am I going to use? And this was after I'd been playing already for about 5.5 years. And I knew like chords and stuff all up and down the guitar, you know. And so I decided, well, okay, I'm going to go with the new tuning. And it took me about a month to get as good in the new tuning as I was in the old tuning. The new tuning is great because, for example, check this chord out. You'd play this the same way in standard tuning because those 4 notes aren't any different, those 4 strings. But what about this? What if I play it on these strings? Same fingering. I play it on these strings, same fingering. I don't have to learn 3 different ways to play it. So that's a 3-to-1 ratio. That's pretty significant. When you think about it, you're on a learning curve. It might take you more than 3 times as long to learn 3 times as much stuff. Who knows? Here's a chord that's 5 strings wide. Very beautiful 5-string wide chord. I can play it here the same way. The timbre is going to be different because it's on different strings. So it's good to be able to do stuff on different strings. See, anywhere I go, I just do this. Doesn't matter where it is. There's a 1-to-1 correspondence between the structure, physically and visually, and the pitch structure. So it's real easy. I can transpose it. You know, it's all basically the same. And the symmetry of it also allowed me to do things like whole tones. You know, stuff like anything that's symmetrical. Anything that looks symmetrical is going to sound symmetrical, you know. Do we have any further questions?
Yes, sir.